Good now, revolutionaries, and welcome to the Rise Up Morning Show. Today is Tuesday, August 19th. Wherever you are, whenever you listen, we hope that it is a good now. Thank you for being here with us. Alex, Will, how you guys doing today?
Oh, I'm good, man. Nice and caffeinated. Slept great. Neck only hurts a little bit today. And Doug and I had a great episode of Market Watch last night. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Conversely, I did not sleep. I'm not caffeinated. Although my neck doesn't hurt, so I guess.
Yeah, we're the opposite. Look at us.
You didn't sleep? Oh, I'm so sorry.
Well, 4.5 hours.
Oh, that's a
like
good
a full night for
you,
Alex.
Yeah.
Jeez.
You really got to do something about that, man.
Gosh, yeah. Let's just put a pillow over his face.
How else will I play Destiny?
Oh, man. If you are well slept, if your neck hurts, if you're just trying to understand what the heck AI or crypto or blockchain is, then you are in the right place, my friends. We are building the future internet, and you are invited. And today, we've got a couple of guests coming to talk about how they are contributing. Our friends, Mack and new friend, Zam. They're building UIUI, and I'm just going to give them the introduction on this one because it's very cool. We're bringing agents to APIs that you know and love. So everybody, please join me in welcoming our friends to the show, Zam and Mack. Thank you guys for making time to join us today.
Yes. Hello, everyone. It's so good to be here. Evan, Alex, William, thank you guys so much for hosting us here. Mack, thank you for coming on here with me. Well, should we just start off with introductions, or should we let you take the lead?
We should start off, but I got to know, you said this is your very first like face on air live show.
Yes.
So are you nervous? Are you excited? You're a handsome guy, so you don't have anything to be afraid of.
I appreciate it. I basically do like 3 or 4 spaces every week, like faceless spaces, but still I've been public speaking for quite a while. I do 3-4 spaces a week, and then I have like 7 to 10 different video calls a day with people. So I'm pretty comfortable being on camera. It's not a problem, but this is actually the first time, like you guys said, where I have been on a public podcast with my face before, because we actually just doxed yesterday with our whole team. Yes,
I was about to say, hi, you're doxed now.
Yeah, fresh post-docs interview here.
Exactly.
Was that a nerve-wracking thing at all? What made you decide to be like an anonymous person on the internet, and then what made you decide to like, okay, I've got to step up and show people who I am?
Well, I think if we want to get into that, then it's probably best to get into like my backstory in general, how I came into the space, how I came into everything. And also, if I could probably start there, that'll probably be the best precursor to everything else. So if
Please.
I may, I came into the space back in like 2019 or 2020. Back when NFTs were like first getting their first hype wave. I came from a graphic design background, which is doing freelance graphic design, like for YouTubers and streamers, shit like that. And obviously every graphic designer started making money in NFTs. Everybody started going to NFTs, so I did as well. Created an art collection, 100 one-of-one art pieces, which was called The Screaming Men. Did pretty good, sold out, met a lot of people in the NFT space. Was just a tremendous success. I was very happy with it. Then obviously NFTs died. I moved on to Web3 gaming, and I co-founded a Web3 gaming launcher with some friends of mine from the UK. That was a fun experience as well. Unfortunately, didn't go too well because we tried to raise funding. Then the Silicon Valley Bank crash happened, if you remember that. That was a bit of a pain in the ass. Then I went on to do quite a lot more stuff. I built some startups that did like RWA here in Russia. I did a startup that this was a pretty cool thing. We created an AI help desk solution for customer support, where like we had pretty big contracts with companies all over Russia, where we would basically help them change their customer support fully with UI. That was a very cool thing. And then I just contributed as founding engineer to a lot of different other startups as well during that time. Then I came back into Web3 with a project called Sentiment AI, which I was sort of the lead engineer of as well. The project was basically about capturing sentiment on lower level projects within the space, and then creating analytics charts and graphs around the analytics that we gather from Telegram chats, Twitter, Discord, whatever. And since then, that was back in 2023, like mid 2023. Basically, what we did was we set up a sort of informal incubation fund based out here in Moscow. So we invest and incubate actively both traditional Web2 IT startups and Web3 projects as well. We help with funding, fundraising, development, marketing, branding, whatever the project may need. We have arms and people for everything, and been doing that successfully for the past 2 years now. And again, helped quite a lot of projects get out to market and succeed. Obviously lost a lot of money, made some money as well. So it's a fun ride. And probably around like this April, decided that I want to take a step back from the operations and the incubation fund, because I mean, incubating is fun, but being a founder is a lot more fun. And the adrenaline that you get from being a founder is something that you can't really find anywhere else. So me and my co-founder of my fund, we're both from the same university and school. We both have a technical background. We decided to take on the concept of UIUI and just go at it full force, just take it on as founders. And that's sort of the reason why, we just decided to get Docs, because it makes sense. We want to put our names behind this project. We want this project to become the face and the foundation of the ecosystem for our fund. And most importantly, with this project, and this is already getting into the part of what the project UIUI is about, is that UIUI is literally technology that will change the way people interact with the internet forever. Now, I don't know, maybe I should stop here for a second, see if you guys have any questions or notes, and then get on to the rest of what I wanted to say about the project itself.
I would like that, because I actually do have a really important clarifying question. Did you say that you launched an NFT product called Screaming Men?
Yes.
Like
exactly.
men who are yelling?
Yes, exactly. That was back in 2021.
We're gonna need a picture of that. Send it to us later so we can share it on the
open schooling. I think it still has like a 0.35 Ethereum floor or something.
I just feel like we missed an opportunity there, guys. Like that could have been us. Screaming Men, the classic branding. I don't know. Depending on what EP, we might have to rock them.
Was it just a metaphor for Twitter?
Yeah. The funny thing is, when I was doing that project, I actually had something called a screaming space, where I just hosted a space on Twitter and spent like 90 minutes of my time in my car alone screaming into the microphone with other people joining in as speakers to scream with me, which was pretty fucking fun.
God, for 90 minutes.
Yeah, bless you. Yeah,
honestly,
exactly.
That was the move in the NFT boom. We talk often about the first time we encountered Goblin Town, which was on a Twitter space, and everybody was just rocking a Goblin PFP and into the microphone for about 90 minutes. It was wild. And it was
hours.
It was gangbusters. Everybody loved it.
The cutting edge of new technology.
Zam, I haven't told you this, but your character arc is very similar to ours, with the NFTs in 2021, moving into gaming, moving into consulting, like verbatim. Yeah. And if you look in their backgrounds, Evan and Alex, you can see two of their
you can see the Scrivener.
It was called the Faceless Many. Mine's over here.
Really cool.
It was a lot of fun. And it's a story that, still lives on, and we'd like to give some fresh juice to, but nothing will be quite as it was.
Of course. No, NFTs back in 2021 was a very fun time. I don't know, were you guys active on crypto Twitter, on NFT Twitter back then? Maybe,
unfortunately.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Alex said.
We
it was fun though.
It was fun, yeah.
The key difference.
I miss it. Twitter was a lot of fun then.
Twitter was a lot of fun. There was a time when shit posting was just like starting to become a trend, where there weren't really any like KOLs or influencers at all. And, like, you could just shit post your way to the top. It was very fun. I remember I had some groups with some good guys, so that was great.
Okay, so you went through all that, and now you've got the intention to docs because you want to put your name on this product, UIUI. Tell us what UIUI is, and then we do a segment a lot on our show that we call Artificial Insanity, to help people understand like the new wave of AI apps, and especially apps that integrate AI and crypto. So with that context, we have an audience at all levels of experience. Some people who are curious and concerned about this stuff, and some people who are building in it like you. Can you share it in a way that, what is it literally, so that anybody can understand like what we're doing here?
Yeah, I think I can. Well, first of all, the big, bold statement that we make is that we're literally building a new way for users to interact with the internet. And here I want to allude to something that I've said on Spaces before, and something that I've written a little piece on my personal Twitter account, is why we actually came up with the project and what sort of thinking went into the idea and the context behind the idea as well. So if you think about it, like just interactions with public services that you can use. If you wanted to, for example, get a movie ticket like 30 years ago, before the internet was really a thing, what did you have to do? You had to go to the movie theater, you had to interact with a human agent, and the agent then interacts with the software to create a ticket for you and then give you that ticket. Then came the internet, and the sort of relationship between the consumer and the product changed to a way where there isn't an agentic part in the middle, and the user had to interact with the product themselves. So now to get a movie ticket, well, obviously you can still go to the movie theater and get it through a human agent, but most people just go online, find the ticket themselves, pay for it themselves, shit like that. So the relationship went from being agentic to being fully manual by the user. And we believe that the next stage in evolution to this is basically circling back to the agentic phase, but the agent now isn't a human, it's an AI. And so you just tell the AI, hey, I want a movie ticket, the fucking 5th row, here's my budget. It finds you the movie ticket, buys it for you, does everything for you. Just like in the previous days where humans did it for you. But now it's just a lot smarter, a lot simpler, a lot easier, and you don't need to go anywhere. So that's sort of the core idea that we started with and which we rolled out of. And to go actually a little bit deeper into explaining how the protocol works is, and what our goal is, what our mission statement is we plan to approach every single web application in the world, be it a decentralized application, be it a movie concert booking thing, be it DoorDash, be it Netflix, whatever the fuck, doesn't matter. Any application, well, first of all, just a small caveat, pretty much 90% of all applications on the web right now work in a way where there's a front end where the users interact with buttons and type things in, and the front end interacts with the back end sends some sort of reply back to the front end shows their reply. Our goal is to come to all of these web applications over the next coming years and replace the front end part of it with an agent where a user can simply type a question and get an answer, and the agent does everything in the back end. The other thing is we don't just produce answers as typical agents do, like ChatGPT obviously would just give you a text answer mostly. Our agents are all tuned to give you actual user interfaces as responses. So if you ask it for something, for example, we have a live demo right now with DeFiLlama. Now, most of you probably know DeFiLlama. It's a DeFi analytics platform.
We love it.
Yeah. So instead of going to the DeFiLlama application right now and, for example, going into Ethereum, Uniswap, checking its volume, comparing it to PancakeSwap, whatever, all you can do is say, hey, compare Uniswap and PancakeSwap volume, wait a couple of seconds, and bam, you get a full chart, full dashboard that compares Uniswap and PancakeSwap volume. You can share this dashboard, you can continue working with it, up to you. And it's fully interactive, fully like it's a literal website that you get created right on the go. So that's fully live, and that's sort of, again, the idea behind everything. The way that the protocol actually works and how we partner with people, pretty soon here in a couple months, this will be fully automatic. So you can go on any web page in the world and literally talk to it without any integration. Right now, how it works is we come to a partner, we request access to their API or just get an API key. The API goes through our protocol, and as an output, within a couple of minutes, we get an agent that fully understands that API and can produce outputs in the form of user interfaces. So yeah, wow. That's basically what we have cooked up, and let's live now.
It's pretty cool. If it's a good time, since our folks are familiar with DeFiLlama, I would love for you to just drive through a little bit and maybe show us what that looks like.
Of course.
And hey, Zam, while you're cooking that up too, one of the comments said, "Long story short, please." And I feel like I could probably give that while you're getting that ready. So,
and while you do, I'd love to especially hear, Mac, what excites you about it? Because when Mac was like, "Hey, you got to talk to Zam," I was like, I already knew it was going to be cool.
Yeah. So I think you know, he has a similar experience to us where he's been in the space in a number of different capacities, and he works in person, which I think is a core differentiator, next to his CTO. So he and the CTO Kronos came up with this idea together and have been working at it for months, and you know, they're doxing, so everything seems like it's built for the future, which I really respect. But the idea is very interesting. And so to answer that question, the problem is that there's a lot of data out there on a number of different websites. And right now, the way you have to access that data is by going to those websites, finding whatever page you want, and kind of like playing with it like in the confines of the rules that they set out. If you go to a page like DeFiLlama or whatever, there's just a fuckload of data. There's of data points with different chains, different coins, graphs and charts, whatever. So the idea is for a place like DeFiLlama or really any website ever, instead of having to type shit and go through different lists and menus and stuff, you just say, hey, my UIUI agent, I want to do this, that, go do it for me. And then it does it.
It's an acknowledgement that everybody might like a different interactive interface.
Exactly.
How I learn is not how you learn.
So it's part Jarvis from Iron Man. When he's talking to Jarvis, he says, hey, Jarvis, spin this up for me, just show me this, execute that. Yeah. This is what we're building towards, that future where you don't have to type in shit on the computer. You just have an agent do it manually for you, automatically for you. And then it's also part vibe coding. So, Alex, I know you're big on like Replit and those vibe coding things lately. And all you're doing is telling an agent to spin up something in a unique way. And that's what this does. It presents the data that's there in a visually compelling and exciting way.
Yeah. So Zam, show us what you're working with, man.
Yeah. You can see the screen, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So again, this is a demo on DeFiLlama. Sometimes, like let's say 1 out of 100 times this won't work. Simply because we're not partnered with DeFiLlama officially. We're using their open API, which can get us rate limited sometimes because obviously, rate limits and APIs exist. So let's ask a question like what I said. Compare Uniswap and PancakeSwap volume over the past week and present it in a way. I don't know. What should we present it in a way? Give me some ideas.
Could you say that is visually appealing?
Yeah.
Could you do something that vague?
And make it press go. It goes. And so right now you can see, so the Atlas is the process of the orchestrator within our protocol. We have more information on this. I can get more information if you want or tell you more. But basically what it's doing right now is it's showing you exactly what it's doing with the DeFiLlama API. So as you can see, it pulled PancakeSwap data. It's filtering and formatting that data. Now it's all the steps have already been completed. So
yeah, and it gives you the progress on each. For people who are listening along to this episode, a reminder that you can find a screen share on your favorite social. I recommend YouTube because you can throw it right up on your TV. Just search the Rise Up Morning Show or grab the link at rumshq.com. This is episode 364. And it really is a super simple to understand little progress bar, 86% complete, 40% complete. And I imagine that one of the ways you'll scale this is probably building out API partnerships, and also this will get faster in the future. Yeah,
of course. Yeah, the biggest problem right now is the actual visualization generation part, simply because like it's creating a full-on application, and that just takes a little bit longer than we want it to take because of a lot of code. And
okay, so what do we got here?
So it basically shows you the comparison between Uniswap and PancakeSwap over the past 7 days. So as you can see, it shows you the volume of the past 7 days, 38 compared to 13 billion. 24-hour volume, 30-day volume, so market position, market dominance. So basically, again, just this, in a couple of seconds, this is then shareable. So you can create a link and share it with people. You can view the code behind this if you want to actually integrate this into an application, for example. You can go full screen if you want. So yeah, that's basically the functionality that we have right now. What we're doing and what we're focusing on right now as well is the integration part of this. So when we have partners, and right now the only partners that we have that have integrated this fully have been for like their own internal personal use, because this is also a very good tool for business intelligence for businesses who have a lot of data and they need to give that data to either their in-house analytics teams or their clients or their customers, whatever. And instead of having to build complex dashboards for each new piece of data, they can just say, hey, I want this dashboard. It creates a dashboard. You can share it around. Very simple. what we're doing right now is also creating a Chrome extension, or like a browser extension in general, where users will, for example, if you're on the DeFiLlama website, then the browser extension will understand that you're on that website, and you can then just through the browser extension ask a question and get the UI generated right within the browser extension. And then more integrations are going to be to follow. So yeah, for a quick demo, I think this is probably shown what it does. Also, we aren't officially partnered with DeFiLlama. That's why right now the actual visualization that it created is in our personal style. When we partner with a company, obviously the visualization creator will be fully in their style. So if you partner with DeFiLlama, this would be like have their logos, have their names all over it, so on and so on.
Mm-hmm. And so right now it's like I've worked in tech for forever, so I'm like, okay, cool. It's a data aggregator and it's a visualization tool now. And then the goal is to make this like a full-on, like personal AI agent that will go do things for you on the internet. Correct? If you were to just to sum it up that simply.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Again, right now it already does stuff for you, but just in a niche like application. So not you can't just tell it, hey, do this, do this. If you're in the context of DeFiLlama and you wanted to do something in DeFiLlama, obviously with DeFiLlama, it's not the best example since they don't really have too much things that you can actually do. It's only things that you can ingest in the data format. But for any other application, yes, you can actually do things already or have it do.
So how is it limited in that sense today?
So right now its limit is that we can't integrate everyone just yet because we do need a manual API integration, but we're working towards solving that. The second limitation, and this is just a development bandwidth missed opportunity on our part that we're going to be fixing very soon, is the fact that this is one shot at the moment. So if you do this query, for example, you want to compare DEX volume, then you can't do a follow-up prompt to do something else with the UI that you have generated. You need to do a new one, but we're going to fix this very soon. And the last thing that we're going to be adding here very shortly is sort of stagnant workflows that you can then query again. So right now, this is not dynamic. So this is static. The information that we got from DeFiLlama once won't be updated again in this exact UI. But very soon, you'll just be able to have this as a fully live web page where like you refresh the page, it gets the data again. You refresh the page, it gets the data again. So it's fully dynamic and up to date.
Gotcha. Okay. So you have that real-time flow and updates in real time. And then, Alex, I know you have a question, but I had a follow-up question on something, Zam, that you said, which is, you have APIs that you need to manually connect to as well. For those of you who don't know, API, it's just a bridge for apps to connect to each other. And so how are you prioritizing what the next things are that you are connecting to from an API? Because obviously, I'm sure there's some thought process around, we want to connect to things that people actually want to use. So I'm curious what those things are and what that priority list is.
Yeah, thank you for the question.
Also that, yes, you have banana.
Sorry, guys. She really wants to tell you hi, and that she's eating a banana. So
gotta have a cameo from G. Hey, baby.
To say hi, everyone.
I miss you, G.
Go ahead, Zam. Go ahead. It's all you, brother.
Yes. So the question is how we're prioritizing people. So two lines of thought here. First of all, we're prioritizing people who obviously pay to get integrated. That's the first thing. The second thing is our own internal focus. And we've decided on this, and this actually hasn't been announced yet at all. This is sort of something that we haven't disclosed yet, but I'll say here because obviously you guys are my best friends. You're not going to tell anyone, are you?
Never.
just 5,000 of our closest friends. It'll be great.
Yeah, exactly. So mouth shut, all good. The track that we're going down right now is, so we have this fully implemented for APIs. So you can take pretty much any API unless it's like very, very badly written. Like for example, DeFiLlama API, it's very bad. Like it is a very horrible API to interact with, but still we managed to fucking get it integrated. So any sort of API that you have, we can get it integrated and you have a UI made for you in like under a couple of minutes. The stage that we haven't conquered yet is the interactions with smart contracts on Ethereum, on Solana, on any other blockchain, doesn't matter. That's the stage that we're planning to conquer next, and to allow users or companies to just throw in their smart contract. The UI understands how that contract works and then can just build raw transactions to send to the blockchain to interact with that direct smart contract. So right now, the way that we're approaching this is first of all, changing the way people interact with the web as a whole. And secondly, changing the way people interact with the blockchain as a whole. I'll give you an example as to why exactly we're doing this. When we were launching the token that we have, all we did is we just launched it on Ethereum mainnet, just in standard ERC20 token. We added a liquidity pool on Uniswap V2. And when we were doing the Uniswap V2 edition, and since I've been incubating projects for the past couple of years, I've done this a bunch of times, and I've seen people do this a bunch of times. But for some reason, the Uniswap front end just didn't let me do it. The reason was, for some reason, there was some sort of division by zero error, zero context on the error on the internet, no help from Uniswap support, no nothing. We didn't know what to do. Then we just decided to obviously just take the contract code, put it into Remix, interact with it directly, add liquidity that way. That obviously worked from the first time because it's a fucking smart contract. It just works when you do it properly. And the Uniswap front end just doesn't work, which is horrendous. Yeah. And so if we obviously ingest the Uniswap factory contracts with UIUI and allow people to interact with those contracts through plain text, they will simply work because the agent understands how to build raw transactions, how to send them properly to ensure that they go through. So that's the pain point that we started off with, and the pain point that we're going to be solving probably directly with the ETH Foundation, but I won't say more on that just yet. Yeah, just.
Alex, I know you have a question, but I just wanted to add for some context. Maybe when you guys are thinking or asking these questions, I'd like to hear your opinion at the end of this, what you think is the best way to connect these ideas with lay people who don't necessarily understand what an API or a front end is, because that was one of my first challenges. And I don't know if I necessarily have completely figured it out yet, but you know, when you're saying these things like front end and API, most people who aren't in the crypto or, you know, software space understand what that is. When you see it, you're like, okay, it's a better way to interact with a website and get the information you want, you know.
I want my banana.
Yeah. Bananas. Okay. But that's just kind of, I think it's something important to highlight, you know, because like it's so critical, but it's like, how do you say in a very short way, you know, all these things that it does and the quantum leap that it does, you know, for the user experience.
Well, for me, for the user experience, from what I've heard so far, is you can more easily and quickly find the information you want on the internet, and at the same time, more quickly do what you want to do on the internet, right? Whether that is find the information that you want on DeFiLlama, great. Now, if people have experience using ChatGPT, I'm sure most people are using it as their Google now, because it will go out and just pull all the information from like 4 or 5 different, sources and pull it together. And we just saw this do that on DeFiLlama and present it in a more visually appealing way, right, than I've ever seen in a ChatGPT. At the same time, if you want to go and, you know, Zam used the example of a movie ticket, you go onto the website, you find the movie that you want, you go and you click, you pick the seats, you find the time, yada, 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 do all that. You just go to the UI agent and say, hey, I want to go to the movie theater at this time. I want to spend this amount of money. 2 people, please get the tickets. And then it just goes and it does those things. You don't have to click on the website. You don't have to navigate. It saves you time. And that is the benefit.
Yeah, you nailed it.
And the other benefit, if I may, is the fact that, again, just alluding back to the example that I gave with the human agents back 30 years ago, if you were to say to a human agent, hey, I want to go to the movies at 2 p.m. For this movie, they could have some input telling you, hey, there isn't a movie at 2 p.m., but the closest one is at 3 p.m. And so you can say, hey, thank you for your opinion, at the very least. Thank you for your help. And when you're doing it yourself, you obviously have to find the next movie yourself. And again, when you're interacting with agents, they give you their personal input as guidance for your next moves as well. So that's also a big bonus, I think, with interaction with agents, both human and AI.
Mm-hmm.
I think the solution of how I would package it has to be briefer. You need a slogan. The ones that come to mind are like your web, your way. Something that fits with UIUI, and the visual in the background of that commercial is like, I'm trying to think of a website with the worst front end, but that people use and find valuable. Maybe something like a trading dashboard, and then show people how, like, I typed out a prompt, I want my banana or whatever, and then it makes it easier. To me, that's the thing. Front end, back end, API, even chatbot. Those things are not the vocabulary I would use. I would use your internet, your way, your web, your way. Customize the internet, make the internet yours, own your internet, stuff like that. That helps people go from an idea they understand to the new capability you offer them. as simply, and I would try to find it a visual way, a verbal way. You know, I don't know, that would be what I would play in. I got to imagine, Alex, I know we've rugged you 3 times, so I'm going to pass it to you, but my next question is going to be about
He lives for it.
I know.
Yeah, I do also have something else to say, so Alex, you can wait for one more second. Is that also from like a branding standpoint, if you think about what an assistant does, and an assistant takes things off of your plate. Yes, see, Alex, an assistant takes things off of your plate so that you can go and do the things that you really want to go do. So, you know, from like a branding marketing standpoint, having a slogan, but you can also think of marketing material or branding content that is people being able to spend more time living their life, doing the things that they enjoy, because they're spending less time having to navigate the internet to actually execute whatever they're trying to execute.
Yes. Now, before we get to Alex, I'll quickly
let's keep this going. Let's keep this going.
Yeah, just to quickly allude to what you just remarked. What we're also doing is we have a separate track for the actual positioning of the project. We have this mascot. It's a yellow guy. We have a lot of fun stickers with him. I think I sent the stickers over in our chat on Telegram. He's a fun looking dude. We have a lot of videos with him. We have a lot of educational content that we're doing with him. And that yellow mascot sort of resembles the fact that now you have a different way to interact with the internet through, again, an agent helping you out, guiding you through things, helping you out. And Alex, let's go. Sorry.
Oh, hey.
Oh, Alex. Hey. So,
well, at this point, there was multiple questions.
Take them,
because we've gone through a lot of stuff. So one of the things that just jumps out at me is, like I mentioned backstage, I think if you're trying to figure out, you know, like what's the way to make this connect with someone more easily, or, you know, I would say increase the likelihood that somebody uses it. I'll share the experience I had yesterday with Perplexity. Because it was honestly, like, I love Perplexity, for context. Big fan. Favorite LLM right now. But this was like a hard no for me. And honestly, it was like a big turnoff. So take this and do with it what you will. They sent me early access to something called Comet, which is like the AI agentic browser where, you know, you exactly as you're describing, a very, you know, classic AI agent. You can tell it to do all kinds of stuff, sort through your emails from today and find, you know, the things, find me the thing where so-and-so emailed me. What did they say? What time was this at? Okay, go ahead and schedule this with my calendar. And then speaking of which, I've got a dinner coming up. Here are the allergy restrictions or the dietary restrictions of everyone coming. I need you to plan a menu, put it in my Instacart, order it, and then have it delivered to my house by 6 p.m. tonight. And like all these things, it can just go do all with a prompt. And that was cool. Like it's a neat thing. I didn't really get a whole lot of context about like what this thing was doing or what it just immediately like, hey, go over here and download Comet. And then I'm like, okay. And then it's like, all right, now give me permission and access and passwords to literally everything you have.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, no, thank you. I don't know anything about the security. I don't know anything about where this is going. I don't know anything about how necessary all this is. I don't know anything about any of it. So like to go from, I think like you said, we cannot make the assumption that anybody, including someone who literally sits here and does this all day long, like me, is just like comfy with relinquishing control, or even just allowing access to these things. So there's got to be like an upfront conversation with the user about like, here's maybe we can baby step this a little bit. Let's start with like access to this one thing, demonstrate the progress or the use case of this thing in this context with my email or with shopping with my Instacart or whatever it is. Because in theory, like this is it's a badass idea. I mean, the idea that you can like be struggling to find information somewhere. Someone in the chat mentioned government websites. My first thought was like looking for a current event about a specific thing on CryptoPanic. I use CryptoPanic every single day, but it is god awful to sort through because they, you know, put about $10 and 5 minutes worth of time and budget into making the front end. So you could totally, you know, whip up a cool infographic like that for a particular story around a particular keyword. I could see a gajillion applications in which people trying to post infographics on social media about X, Y, and Z would want to use something like this to throw the information together and, you know, like you said, make it look pretty, post it. super easy. I would use it in like green screen stuff all the time. If I wanted to like do a quick comparison, I wouldn't have to make the infographic, and it would be getting like live real-time data from these different things. It's cool as hell.
Yeah. If I can comment on that. So Perplexity and Perplexity does this, Claude does this, OpenAI does this as well. They have their agents browser. Yep. The way that it works with these LLMs is what they have is basically a live recording, a fully like live stream of your screen. And what they do is they just allow the agents to interact with the screen for you, which is cool. But there are a lot of limitations to this. At the very least, there's a limitation that, yes, you need to give all your fucking usernames and passwords, which is a fucking
sketchy.
Well, sketchy, and you're not going to fucking do that. The difference with us is that our agents don't interact with the front end. They interact with the back end of the application. And this is also a big plus to our sort of B2B to C business model, where we first of all partner with somebody that gives us access to an API, and then the user interacts through us with the API. So what happens is the agent doesn't interact with the front end. The agent actually interacts with the API in the back end, which can be a lot more constructible in a way which is more secure for the user on the front end, more understandable for the server on the back end, and just in general, a much cleaner and better experience and a much quicker experience, because I think that not many people understand that AI agents and the foundational models that we have right now, again, from Claude, from OpenAI, from Gemini, whatever, they're very good at making HTTP requests to APIs of any standard, of any application. And so that's sort of what our advantage is. And I think that that's what nobody has really figured out yet. So yeah, very, very happy with that. Give me 1 second, sorry.
No, you're fine. I do want to officially welcome Gianna to the show because Giannova Rose. Yeah, but don't you call her Gianna? Don't you call her G? Don't you call her Gigi? I can't give her a nickname.
Gianna is
What's her nickname of the moment?
Yeah, it is a choose your own adventure, but Gianna's a new one.
Oh, I'm sorry. See, that's why you got to come hang out with your Uncle Evan more, because I'm going to give you all the rest of the nicknames, and I just want to know what she like the best right now aside from her banana.
Well, what are you eating now, G? What is that? What is it? What is it?
It's in my hand, Dad. You idiot.
She's so big, man.
Very good. Yeah, she's talking a lot. Yeah. So bullish on her. She just turned 2. I tried to take her out, by the way, but she just started screaming, and she'll be knocking at the door. So it's actually better if she just joins.
No, I'm glad she's here. I really am glad she's here. It's a family affair now.
But I just want to say thank you. Yeah. You guys have all.
And even G rugged Alex. Like that was my favorite part was when we were all rugging Alex, and she was like, "No, it's my turn."
Yeah, Zam, it's a bit of a time-honored tradition to just kind of everyone just pile on Alex. It's just got a special feeling that we all love to partake in.
And you know, I started doing it naturally. There's just something. There's just like blood in the water, and everyone's
just in the air.
It's just in the air.
Feel it. Yeah, it feels right.
Alex, you had the best question, in my opinion.
God damn
Alex,
right.
Alex always does have good questions.
Yeah, he does.
You know what's really funny though about G's rug is that it was accidentally topical. Like if the question is, you know, how would I describe what the point of all of this agentic, you know, whatever is for the everyday person, and G just goes, I want my banana. That's kind of it, right? It's like I have like this goal. The internet is a hot mess. There's so much nonsense all over the place. Everyone's competing for this, that, the other thing. There's a gajillion cries for attention and all these different things. I just want my goddamn banana. So build me something that gets me the banana. And it was kind of funny. So that G's is the only rug that I'll give a pass to. The rest of your assholes.
I like putting it that way in the most like blunt honesty terms, but I also like what you said too, Sam, because I don't know if we really discussed that finer point of what makes it an advantage in that it doesn't have to deal with the front end like many of these AI agents that are in the world today now do.
Yeah, I need to make a tweet about that. I forgot. Last time me and you, Matt, called, you gave me the idea to make a tweet about the initial thesis that I had. I need to make this a tweet as well. I need to get more active on Twitter for my personal account.
Yeah, I just want to say, too, for any of the users who are checking out the Twitter or the website or anything like that, just know that this is very much a work in progress. Like, we have plans to update the website, to put out the roadmap soon. You know, the docs were just kind of completed, and there's a lot of partnerships that are in the pipeline and soon to come. So this is a something that's been in the work, but as I say, Rome wasn't built in a day. And as Zam has kind of talked about, there's a ton of advancements and developments coming very soon.
I'd like to get you to share with us how we can stay abreast of those, how folks can get involved. But the sort of final question I had for you was what you are worried about from competitors and what stuff excites you, because people are building browser agents. Obviously, it's not necessarily a custom UX, but what are you looking for from competitors that has you nervous, and what are you looking for from competitors and colleagues that has you really, excited about the next iteration of the internet?
Yeah, the only thing that we're not nervous about, the only thing that we're sort of accepting as a fact that is unfortunate and that's going to not help us, is the fact that our competitors have billions and billions of dollars in funding from a lot of venture investment over the United States and China as well. So that's a bit of a minus, but oh well, we'll deal with it what we may. I think the cooler thing that we have is that they're taking a very much a research-based approach and a very standard approach to building businesses. Which is obviously a great thing, and it works because of the capital that they have allocated towards this. But I feel like our approach, by starting within the Web3 space and then sort of circling out within this community aspect, can be a very, very big thing for us to be able to actually compete. I think that the other mode that we have is that we just genuinely have one of the best development teams in the world. That is just, I'd say that's a fact. I can give some context on it. What we did, so we're based in Moscow and Dubai. Half and half, basically. Our development team's fully in Moscow. What we did is we onboarded 10 people from Moscow, Moscow Physics and Technical Institute. It's the best technical university in all of Moscow.
Wow.
We onboarded 10 people. All of them have won international and national math Olympiads, computer science Olympiads, physics Olympiads, basically shit like that. So the smartest people in the world, literally. Plus, they're super powered by AI coding tools. Plus, they have an education, a bachelor's degree or a master's degree in software development or similar. And they're super powered by us, super powered by the funding that we provide, super powered by AI tools. And I think that is a very big mode that no one else really has. And I think it's pretty cool. And then, of course, the community aspect and just the fact that we're a lot more lean and fast than the giants. So, again, it's going to be difficult, but it's going to be very fun. I think that we're very well positioned to accomplish this.
And how would you ask people to get involved? Is following you on X and checking out the site the best way?
I think that the best way to get involved is just to remember the name for now. Check out the site, of course. But for most people, the problem is right now with the demo that we have, it's not going to be useful for too many people. Not too many people go on DeFiLlama. Not too many people go on to check too much things on DeFiLlama. So right now, the demo that we have is just exactly that. It's a demo to showcase the use case. So right now, the best thing that you should do is remember the name, and then just whenever you go on a website in the future, and then you see a little text box appear with the UIUI logo, and you'll say, "Oh, hey, I know these guys."
Zam, I wanted to add to everyone who might be interested in something like this, kind of a playbook from the Faceless Many days. So. We are big proponents, Alex, and Evan, and myself are big proponents of building a kind of like core elite following they're really passionate about what you do, and then have them kind of be the primary, orchestrators of the culture and the marketing message that you guys get out there. And so what we are just about to roll out is it's called UIUI. So it's like a core group of people in the community that we think are really just passionate about the mission that we're on. And so we have the Telegram group, but what we're about to probably announce maybe today or tomorrow is this UIUI group. And the way you get in is by posting a Twitter thread, just kind of an explanation on what we're doing and why it's important and why people should be paying attention. And then what we'll be doing is handpicking probably up to 20 for this first cohort to join this Discord. And those people will be our beta testers. They'll get all kinds of rewards and benefits. And I just wanted to extend that because I know that there's a lot of passionate people who actually care about the meaning of crypto and decentralization and novel technology in your audience. So if any of you guys are interested, follow at UIUI_WTF and look out for that, because we'll be posting that soon. There'll be a lot of benefits, of multiple varieties for people who can get into that UI League group. And, you guys will kind of be our babies going forward, because we'll rely on you to say, hey, is this a good idea? How does this product, sound to you? All that stuff.
Well, I really appreciate you guys for making time to share with us. And I'm excited to see what this thing can do a couple weeks, a couple months, maybe even a couple years from now. This is what the internet's going to look like for us. So, gentlemen, you'll have to come back and tell us about it. Thank you very much for making time to come on the show. Mac, Zam, we appreciate you.
Thank you guys.
And,
You are the hosts.
Hey, absolutely. We'll catch up to you guys soon, yeah?
Yeah, perfect. Thank you so
Okay.
much, guys.
See you guys later.
Bye for
Good
now.
seeing you guys again.
You
Peace.
too, Mac.
Get out of here, Mac.
Get the heck out of here. But not you, ladies and gentlemen. Stay here with us. We got a whole second half of the show coming up in just a minute, and we want to hear your crypto questions. We got some headlines to break down about layer 1 blockchains from Stripe, from Circle. But what do you guys think about that?
Just because I wanted to run my own quick little test on it. First of all, I did think it was funny. And if I didn't get rugged so much, I would have said this before they left, but we didn't ask me for a final thought. So I guess I'll just sit over here and cry about it. Pitching a product that can right now only query DeFiLlama to this audience is about the best place that you could possibly do it.
It's
because
about the best place.
the llama's on screen for everything, every single episode.
Yeah.
But
Also, when you're not officially partnered with DeFiLlama, but you should be.
yeah, exactly. I ran here. I'll show you. Wait, oh no, it's on the wrong desktop right now. I'll pull it up.
Rugged us.
I did a revenue comparison between two things that I thought would be funny, and it's worse than I could have imagined. Let me bring it over to.
Wait,
put
say
it in
that
the
again.
same
You did
place
what
here.
now?
I just because
revenue
he
comparison.
said he did like volume
see.
comparison on Uniswap versus PancakeSwap, and I was like, let's compare the revenue of Solana and Cardano. And,
Oh no.
and see, Mac is laughing backstage. Oh no,
Cardano, no.
no.
Yeah, I'm in the private chat with Mac because I think we rugged his final thought. Listen, Mack Lorden, if you're out there in the ether and you want to give a final thought, you just come back up to the stage. You're welcome here anytime.
He's right there. Just
I know that, Alex.
The
I know
audience doesn't
everything
know
that
that.
happens on our show. I'm the omnipotent producer. I say things like that so that the audience feels like we are relatable.
you know what?
Because they don't know what's
Showbiz,
going on.
baby.
You know,
Showbiz.
come on,
Jazz
man.
hands.
Come on.
Well, that just seemed like a weird thing to question because he's right there. So you threw me off. Also, I'm struggling with this desktop. Also, I just got here because I haven't done anything yet today.
You gave
had a great
arguably the
question.
best transition, the
Yeah,
best
you're-
question.
You're damn right I did.
You were the comedic relief at the, through the, well, we were at
Spit
the
it out,
expense
buddy.
of you, the comedic relief. So you were the comedic relief. So thanks. And then Gigi was the star.
Dude, G was perfect with the banana. The timing
Yeah, that was good.
couldn't have been better. Man, she's so big. I can't believe how big she is.
Okay,
Dude,
here we go.
when Mac and Amber were visiting Boston, Violet the day afterwards was like, "Dude, my arm is so sore because she's carrying Gigi." She's like, "Oh my god!" And I was like, "Yeah, that's where like that parent strength comes from. He was holding this progressive load for about 3 years."
And while Alex pulls this up, let me remind you that if you have asked a question, if you've shared something, and we've missed you today, it's tough when you're having a live conversation with 5 people, and as good as we can be, we aren't perfect. So if you want to make sure that we see your comment, we see the thing you want to share with us, we would love it if you jump into the Rise Up community. It's totally free to join, and you can find the link at our website, rumshq.com. It's right there at the top. The only thing missing is you. If your question has gone unanswered, that's where you got to go. Alex, what are we looking at?
just ecosystem revenue comparison between Cardano and Solana over the past 24 hours. And as we can see here on one side, it's 7.18 million compared to 12 grand.
Thanks for playing Cardano.
I knew it was going to be bad.
Now,
And I will
this
say
is from DeFiLlama, so it could be incomplete reporting.
yes, the disclaimer that must be given is that they don't query everything, and so there could be unreported sources of income or revenue on the Cardano side. Not everything plugs in. Not every protocol that exists on every ecosystem lets DeFiLlama question and get information from them. But if you zoom out a little bit to 30 days, it's not good. We have net outflows of $500,000, so we're actually negative. Even on the week. So
Cardano.
I was like, you know what?
How could Charles afford this?
Well, Charles is doing just fine.
Charles is doing fine.
This was super easy. So for that, I dig it. Like I would probably use this on the show constantly to throw up comparisons if someone wanted to like ask about this versus that or that versus this, whatever, especially as more stuff gets plugged in. But even as it stands, just in demo form, just with the free DeFiLlama plugin, like useful.
I mean, we're the ultimate DeFiLlama power users. So yeah,
It's true.
like we'll use this all the time.
It's true.
It is true. Are you guys cool if I segue us into a little stablecoin layer 1 blockchain talky talk?
It's your show, Mr. Omnipotence.
What do you mean? Come on,
God,
man.
the
It's our
sass. You need to sleep more than 4 hours.
4.5.
Our show.
Oh, you're fine.
I'm good.
You're good.
Pal. I am going to share a couple of these
Don't you
links
pal
in
me.
Don't
the
you pal?
description.
Don't you pal me, buddy? Don't you
These links are
buddy
going
me,
to the
amigo?
Listen here, guy.
If you amigo me, I'll chief you so hard.
I'm not your bud, pal. I'm not your pal, guy. I will share all these links in the Circle community. I'm going to share a couple of them in the description for this episode because this is just an overview, but this is something we're going to expect to see more of and that I want you to feel comfortable unpacking. In the wake of the Genius Act, as clarity comes through, we're going to see more people putting their hands on stablecoins or tools that look like them. And we have just gotten the announcement from Circle, the company behind USDC, that they are going to launch ARC. And we have gotten the announcement from Stripe and their partners at Paradigm that they are going to launch a chain called Tempo. Now, in short as I can make it, these are new layer 1 blockchains. ARC, Circles, is an EVM compatible, meaning works with Ethereum and all the layer 2s, layer 1, and it uses USDC as its gas token. So you don't have this like double fluctuation of fees. You know, it's everything else is dollar denominated. So it's easy for budgeting if you're a business, if you're a user, and it settles deterministically in under a second, which means that we have what blockchain people call instant finality with no risk of rollbacks. It's not like we have to wait for validators and node operators to say what's going to happen. Businesses like this because they want to know that what's on the books is the record that they can trust going forward. This is important for like point of sale functions, you know, credit card payments and stuff like that on chain. It also supports opt-in privacy so that transaction amounts are hidden by default while your addresses are public. So it's easy to see like who's interacting with who, but it's not like your whole bank account is out there for the world to see.
Well, that's
and
nice.
You can build in more permissions on top of it. You know, if you're Visa or your MasterCard or you're somebody else and you want to create a closed container. And it's also got special permissions for folks who are like assigned a private key as an auditor, for example, so that if you're a government or a regulator, you can have special permissions to get the information you need to make sure that everything is happening as it's supposed to. They built it this way right out of the box. Stripe, on the other hand, has got Tempo, also EVM compatible layer 1, also high performance, high throughput, meaning transactions are fast and cheap. And the key difference here is that Stripe has got a ton of customers and clients worldwide, not just like everyday people like you and me, not just small businesses, but institutions are using Stripe to move big time bucks. Stablecoins right now facilitate trillions of dollars in settlement, but companies like Visa, MasterCard, Stripe, the settlement market is like quadrillion. It's number so big, it sounds like we're making it up. But companies like that have the networks now that people use, that's critical that they bring over something like Circle. relatively speaking, still like.
Hold on.
Evan,
Hold on.
hang on, buddy. It sounds like
What?
you're being attacked by robots,
Yeah, you got rugged.
and you're frozen on our screen.
Check 1, 2.
Nope.
Check 1, 2.
Oh, it's coming back a little bit. Hang on. Give me a little bit more. A
Wow.
little more ABC.
What a terrible
Nope.
time.
The
Awful.
AI overlords have decided to silence you.
Xfinity.
Okay, wait. You're
You're
almost
coming
there.
back a little bit.
You're almost there.
Yeah, the
D, E,
squirrels
F, G.
stopped chewing on your internet cable, and your
You're-
picture's clearing up.
You're in 120p, like you're streaming on a potato, but you're getting better.
Yeah, you're getting better, man.
Okay, take it away.
Some think the world is made for people like me, but it's not. Okay, you got me?
Yes.
Yeah,
Wow.
you're here.
For
We'll
now.
edit it out in post. Here we go. What I was saying, I don't know where you lost me. I was simply saying that Stripe has all the customers, that networks like Stripe's currently they provide the infrastructure for all the settlements, the cross-border payments and stuff, literally quadrillions of dollars in commerce, a number so big it sounds like we made it up. Whereas Circle and other stablecoin providers, they only facilitate a few $1 trillion in transactions like that every month, which is still a lot, but the competitive advantage that Stripe offers here is the network effects. We don't have as many details about their gas design, about finality and privacy. Those are under wraps right now for Tempo, Stripe's blockchain. But they are also clearly targeting a seamless stablecoin powered commerce experience. So we'll have more on those later. I'm so sorry. You'll have to ask me in the community or read the articles for more details since I got rugged by a robot. But do you guys have a take on this? Do you think this will be my real question is, like, in a world where now we're going to see more people launch stablecoins or stablecoin-esque products, do you think that we're going to see a one winner takes all scenario? Or do you think we're going to see a collaborative future where everybody's got their own kind of piece of the pie? Would love to hear your predictions on this. And I pray to God it came through.
It did. Will is muted, though, because he's a wiener.
Gosh darn it.
How
Tartar
embarrassing
sauce.
for you. How
Dang it. Darn it.
for you.
Shoot, guys. Dang.
I'm sure it was such a good point.
Basically, I just said Alex and I might disagree here based on our
We're about to.
handshaking. But yeah, I don't see why it makes any sense why there would be one winner take all, because there isn't a one winner take all in the current market today with all the competition. Everybody has their own little slice of the market in the payment processing space. So, like, why wouldn't it be any different? Oh, kitty cat. Oh, kitty cat.
Because our
Garden
show
kitten.
wasn't chaotic enough. We brought the kittens inside yesterday. Our cat, Crypto, had 4 kittens.
God, you're
And
such a nerd.
this one, as you would expect any son of Crypto to be, is named Satoshi, or Toshi for short, and is the
Toshi.
absolute friendliest of the bunch and is learning how to live inside with his brothers and sisters. Aren't you? You got something to say?
Pensive.
No, he's shy. That's okay.
Yeah. Just like actual Satoshi now, nothing is said.
That's right. The strong but silent type.
Strong but
Hopefully
silent
nothing
type.
will be said.
Still.
by that
Hopefully nothing
person.
will be said.
Okay, so Will, I feel like there's absolute. I mean, in every instance, there's like a winner take all. Not in that nothing else exists, but in the sense that, like, everyone is competing for, like, second place. Like, in the world of online shopping, or whatever. I mean, Amazon, $1 trillion. Everyone else competing for, whatever else is next. I feel like there's instances in corporate America and corporate Earth constantly of, like, something just gets to that point and it just starts buying the competition and drowning it. I mean, it's why we have monopoly laws. So I feel like Circle is kind of taking the bet, like, okay, either everyone on Earth uses USDC, which would be the goal. But again, they have a lot of ground to make up before they can touch, like, where Tether's at. Even though I would say, from, like, a notoriety standpoint, in this region at least, like, they're becoming you would think they're on kind of an equal playing field, and worldwide, Tether far and away. But so what can you do if you want to take over the world in that sense? You can either push so that everyone on Earth uses your one stablecoin, USDC, Or I would say another viable option is to do this, make a layer 1 and invite everyone to create their stablecoin specifically on Arc, backed by the power that is USDC and its backing and all that sort of stuff, to lend security. I mean, that makes sense, especially with how much money they're making now. Plus, I'm sure that they have pressure from Coinbase to step it up to make more money because they have a rev share agreement with Coinbase, and Coinbase made a lot of money this year thanks to Circle. And I feel like Coinbase is trying to take that. I mean, obviously, sorry, this is not a hot take at all. I'm not like cracking the code here. Coinbase is obviously trying to be, the Amazon, the Apple of crypto, that $1 trillion company. If I were to think of companies in crypto that have a chance of getting to $1 trillion market cap, it's Coinbase far and away. I don't even know who else really touches them.
Tether.
Binance.
That could be it.
That's probably it. I don't. Would you put anyone else in that category of like maybes? Like,
I mean,
in a reasonable
Circle,
amount of time,
because people would want exposure to the stablecoin issuance industry. That, or they would go and buy the Ethereum ETF to get indirect exposure to stablecoins.
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting.
We had a really good.
But
I could see it being the big like far away takeaway winner, and I feel like that's my end point. I feel like Arc is they've chosen this path. Like, okay, if you're not going to use USDC, you bet your ass you're going to put your stablecoin on Arc.
But the thing is I was in my comment of there's not going to be a winner take all, and you'll have a whole bunch of people doing a whole bunch of stuff. I wasn't talking about stablecoins. I was talking about Web2 companies like Stripe and Circle having their blockchain, and then you have all those. I was just talking about payment processing solutions. I wasn't talking about stablecoins. But then I went and I looked up, well, what's the current market share? Because I was like, oh, you have Stripe and you have PayPal and you have all these different options. And like I use a whole bunch of different ones. But apparently PayPal for a global payments market has 45% of the market share.
Woof.
And so that's a winner take all. Because there are a lot of payment processors out there. 45% is pretty dominant. So I guess in either scenario, you will have a, clear top dog, because the next number 2 space is Stripe at 17%, not even half of what PayPal has.
Yeah. So PayPal, they have a stable coin. The name is escaping me. I think it's a PYUSD.
Yeah, correct.
I have not seen the rails for it, though. It mostly lives on other people's chains. So Stripe trying to beat in the market, but I wouldn't be surprised to see a PayPal chain.
No, I wouldn't either.
I think that's a matter of time.
Yeah, because they've always been in this crypto space for, at least the past like 7 or 6 years. I've been seeing PayPal in and out.
Robot Stecklerish had a really good question about who or what is in charge of like auditing or setting the audit protocols for this. And it depends on the kind of audit you're doing. If you're talking about like the audit of the actual token product, like your stablecoin, USDC, for example, then these are issuing entities like Circle for USDT or for USDC or Tether for USDT. They are going to contract somebody, usually an independent third-party accounting firm, who is going to perform something like an attestation report. Circle, they work with Deloitte. They do monthly attestations of reserves. There is no regulatory requirement for this, though. This is something I actually would have to defer to a legal expert on, because I do believe somewhere in the Genius Act and somewhere in the Clarity Act, this is outlined. Do you guys happen to know if either of those acts outline auditing procedures for stablecoins or chain? Yeah, shrugs. So I'm not sure either. In terms of the blockchains themselves, like Arc or Tempo, it's the same kind of thing. Open Zeppelin, somebody like that is going to be the third party that Paradigm or Stripe is going to hire to perform an audit to make sure that there are no smart contract bugs, to make sure that there are no vulnerabilities in the consensus mechanism. But I don't believe that there's like a protocol for it. And a lot of the stable coins I expect to see are probably just going to be databases. Like, I don't think most of these private companies are actually going to have like an open, permissionless, actual blockchain. I think they're probably going to have a database that they can roll back that's pretty closed and permissionless, that happens to have something that kind of functions like a token, but is really more in practice like points, not truly on chain, would be my guess.
I see that all the time, right? I mean, like I see it in the comments right now, this idea that everything will be on chain, and I just don't agree. It's not because I don't think it should be.
It just doesn't need to be.
It doesn't need to be, and the friction is unimaginable. Like it's just not going to happen. Like you can't go from what it is right now, which is that crypto is this like very divisive at this point now, thanks to the government, hyper partisan talking point that is, I mean, like go leave the bubble and just find an instance where crypto is mentioned in any context that isn't in like this particular space, and just read the comments, because it's overwhelming. It's 99-1. Oh yeah, it's a tool for the ultra wealthy to grift on the less fortunate by pretending that there's an investment opportunity. That is the sentiment. And I apologize. You just don't go from that to every company puts their entire ecosystem on chain. You just simply don't. We've seen examples of what I would call easy shoe-ins for good, meaningful integration of the tech, toe dip into it and see like what the feedback would be. The most glaring example in my head is I vividly remember when Supercell ran their experiment campaign to see about integrating crypto stuff. It probably went over a lot of heads because they did it. I still maintain this was the single most genius way I've ever seen a company test something without opening themselves up to like any backlash. It was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. No wonder. I mean, no wonder they're doing great. Go
ahead.
They
cut out for me.
They had a game, a brand new like demo game that was in like alpha status that had early access. So the Twitter following was quite small, but it's a Supercell product. And then they just did a meme, and it was like, it's called the Monster Hunting Company, Moco. It was like, so and so hunting for NFTs, and then it was, in parentheses it just said like something fairy technology, near fairy technology, or new fairy technology, or something like that.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
And it was funny because like one, it wasn't outright saying like NFTs are bad, so it left the conversation open. Two, it like it was a clear signal like this is a Web3 thing. That's an NFT thing. We're making a joke, or are we? And every comment, dude, every single comment was, "Oh, thank God you scared me. Oh, thank God.
Yeah.
I would uninstall so fast. Oh, absolutely hard no." So like we have so much. I got a comment this morning that was like, I couldn't disagree more with your marketing take. This stuff doesn't need marketing. Everyone's just going to use it without realizing they're going to use it. Every company will have everything there. And I'm like, that's so delusional. It's not even funny. And it's the reason that things are struggling. That's the reason that things are struggling. So I have to push back on that. Like you have to do a better job telling it to people. If you just walk into the room and say XRP is going to take over the world, you're not converting anybody. I'm sorry. If you do, it's an anecdote. And I'm not saying XRP in general, just anything, like buy Bitcoin is okay. Why? Because for a lot of people, it has very negative connotations. It's an energy suck. It's used by criminals. It's whatever. Anything can be accurate or inaccurate, but if that's the sentiment, then I'm sorry, that's where you're stuck. You have to work on that. You don't work on that by just being more aggressive. It's not how anything works. That's what a 10-year-old would do.
I want to shout out all the folks in the comments who let us know that yes, Clarity and Genius do have provisions outlined specifically for auditing and who can issue stable coins. I did know that. And I looked it up while we were talking. This is one of the tricky parts. Permitted payment stablecoin issuers can issue stablecoins in the US. So that is subsidiaries of insured depository institutions, aka like banks, big banks, federal qualified non-bank entities. They have to be approved by the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency. This is people who would be like Stripe, and state qualified issuers if the state's regime is substantially similar to the federal system. This is like, I forget who it is in Wyoming that has the patent on like stablecoin-esque assets that they're going to defend against people who are trying to issue them at scale. And they are forming a coalition of smaller state level banks, regional banks, to try and take on a lot of these big banks that want to issue their own stable coins. There are also reserve and disclosure requirements you can Google this or look it up in the Genius Act, but they're forbidding yield. They're forbidding securitization. However, there are ways around that. They have some other things too, like how to protect against bankruptcy, but I don't think we need to get into it here. If you want to look into it, your favorite LLM will absolutely give you the summary, and Circle, Stripe, everybody else will play by these rules. One of the people I want to have on the show is I met Josh Hudson from Agora at Permissionless. Awesome dude. And he and I reconnected recently. He's like, I've got to get our CEO on your show. And I was like, yes, you do. We want to talk to Agora because they will be one of those stablecoin issuers who does like a back end for a company who wants to be able to offer a stablecoin instrument and wants to be able to offer some kind of yield, but can't do it directly. So we'll talk to him. Good questions. Good points. Thanks for the assist.
There's I think there's so many instances. I just wrote a lengthy post on LinkedIn and Twitter yesterday about like meaningful ways, or why Web 2 traditional companies could crush it in the Web 3 space with meaningful integrations, but they probably won't. And it all kind of comes down to this: like the stablecoin is the thing that feels by the industry to be the easiest in to like do something that makes sense, where you don't have to like fight a giant battle. But you honestly, you still do, because there's surveillance questions, there's censorship questions, there's tracking questions, there's issuance questions, there's backing questions, there's all sorts of stuff. I don't know. I think I wish that we would collectively as an industry work harder on figuring out why the sentiment that this is like something to be hyper divisive instead of just like a piece of technology that can be used by all sorts of things and whatever. I mean, like the I wish that we fought that a little bit more tactically instead of just like allowing ourselves to silo down harder and be angrier. It literally, it gives me the vibe of like a toddler who's having a tantrum because he can't communicate something clearly, and rather than try to figure out a better way to communicate it, just like starts screaming and shitting his pants. And that sucks.
We had a clarifying question about yield also. The question is, what do you mean by yield? And in this case, we mean something like a dividend. You will always be able to take stable coins wherever there's like a free and open market. DeFi, crypto people, we love doing this, where we will create a decentralized way of swapping those tokens for other kinds of tokens, where you can lend them or borrow them in order to do revenue generating stuff with them. And that earns you what we call a yield, which is like a payback. The same way that parking your money in a savings bond or a savings account or an index fund earns you interest. That's what we mean when we say yield. But in this case, specifically yield bearing stablecoins, we're talking about something that looks more like a dividend, meaning a payment issued to people who hold it. And that is what is like legally tricky, that people are saying they want, but the government is saying you can't have. And some intermediaries are saying, oh, well, we can make it happen for you. More to come.
There was a question about explaining stablecoins, their use in the future. So this kind of ties together. Why would you even want to consider tokenizing something like that? Because there are vehicles right now where you can purchase a thing, you can earn a yield, and it's regarded widely as being safe, consistent, historically sound, whatever. There's different vehicles for that. The question for me, the reason that a stablecoin comes into it is because I want to have a little bit more control over that thing. I'm worried that too much of my entire future is stuck in a place where I am like given permission to use or to keep. Like, so my Roth IRA, it's with Charles Schwab, and that's where it exists. I can't like take it as a thing and put it somewhere else because I now have an issue with Charles Schwab or whatever. I can't like withdraw it and keep it personally like offline for a little bit and like pause it and like let it sit there and wait until I figure out, okay, where do I want to go? Maybe I have questions about the custodian, in this case, Charles Schwab, or whoever the bank is or the institution.
Sure.
I would love to be able to withdraw that thing, that idea, that account, and put it somewhere else where I feel better about it, or keep it for myself for a little bit, or just protect it, shield it, whatever, you know. I don't want all of that to be at the whims and mercy of whoever owns that company, whatever the company is. That's kind of it in a nutshell. Like, why a stablecoin when you could just use a dollar? Because you could just keep money in dollars, and you could use a bank, and then you could open a high yield savings account, and you could earn better interest, and that could be great. And it's very easy to pay for stuff because, you know, debit cards are widely accepted all over the place. You don't really have to try, like, the foundation, the infrastructure, all that is built and set, easy peasy. You know, but it could be better. And I think that we just see a lot of instances of, like, people struggling to retain control over their assets, or be able to put their money where they want, or get actually some benefit out of having any kind of money, or you know, that's kind of why I'm personally so excited about the idea of a stablecoin, or the idea of getting yield, or having a thing tokenized, or whatever in general.
And there was a really good Unchained interview. All of them are great, but you know, one of my favorite sources is unchainedcrypto.com, the Unchained podcast. Laura Shin hosted a guest to talk about what the future of stablecoins looked like, and to shout out some like possible winners and losers. And one of the groups of winners that he was talking about are some of the chains that have been building the infrastructure to make stablecoin payments work. Anybody who's fast, anybody who's cheap, anybody who's got good on ramps, off ramps. He mentioned specifically Algorand. He mentioned the Stellar Development Foundation's chain, you know, Stellar, as people who are building these kinds of like roads to tokenize stuff and cross ecosystem bridges. One of the problems with a lot of crypto networks is they're kind of like silos unto themselves. It's so interesting to think about the many options for what the future will look like, and how, again, early we are. We are so early to this. By way of transition, I want to highlight and ding this comment from CryptoBoat, who said, whenever my kid asks for a new toy, I say, do you know how many XRP that is?
I also saw his comment where he was like, I'm seriously considering selling my truck and buying XRP.
I think that was somebody else.
Trying to do the Amy Street trade.
Oh my gosh. That's at your own risk, my friend.
I don't know how to sell this thing.
So
okay.
The follow-up, so different stablecoins is basically like having money in different banks. Not really. Although kind of. We're starting to get there. So the way that I think about it is that it's more like giving something. This is a struggle. I'm going to channel my inner Evan here for this one. So as it stands, if your money is in a bank, largely, more often than not, it is not real, right? It exists on the screen, and someone's computer says that it's there. And so the stablecoin, in theory, now, not every one of them is perfect, and we have a lot of work to do, but in theory, it exists a lot more than the current like digital money that lives on a screen somewhere, and we just hope the database like continues to reflect that money exists, because this is on a blockchain, which is just a much more secure way to store data. In general, that is exactly what a blockchain does. It stores data more securely than current databases. So by having your money in a stablecoin instead of just on a screen at a bank, you are the one who has more control over it, and you can do with it what you want without having to ask quite so many people for permission to do the thing. If I had a bank account with Wells Fargo and I wanted to close it and open a new bank account with the same amount of money in a different bank, move to Fifth Third or whatever. I hope these banks are still in business. I don't know. I don't use them anymore. So
not a bank maxi.
Not a bank maxi. In that case, I would have to go to Bank A and ask permission to close the account and withdraw, probably answer a whole lot of questions about why and are you sure? And like, well, shit, here's the awkward thing. This money doesn't really exist. Give us a minute. It depends how much it is. You might not even be able to do that, depending on how much, they have on hand or whatever, because they fractionalize it and use it to do whatever. That's how they make all their money. Then I have to like go and make the new account and set the whole thing up and like deposit the money over there and do the whole rigmarole over there. And then if it turns out that like, oh shit, this actually sucks, I want to do that again and go to a different place. Okay, now rinse and repeat. With a stablecoin, it's like, oh, hey, Aave is currently not offering me the best percentage and Morpho is better. Withdraw, deposit, done. Takes like minutes. I didn't ask anybody for permission. I signed 2 transactions. That's the benefit. It's being the one driving your money instead of being the one who's allowed to look at your money while it's being driven
Held
by someone
hostage.
else. And they make all the money and you're like allowed to have a little piece of it. And maybe sometimes you're allowed to use your own money when you want to. That's the benefit.
We had a lot of good questions at the end here, but I do want to remind folks that it's about that time when we're going to start to ride our dogs and ponies off into the sunset. So if you've got a final question, a suggestion, a good joke, a prediction, a word of wisdom, then throw it in the comments. And if you are listening in the future, hello, we hope your candles are green. I want to invite you to leave your comments in the Rise Up community. You can find the link at rumshq.com. That is our website, short for Rise Up Morning Show headquarters. The very first link when you get there is the link to jump in the community. It's 24/7, the place the show lives. The only thing missing, my friends, is you. If you can't get there, don't fret, don't sweat. We'll be back tomorrow and every Monday through Thursday at 7 a.m. Central Standard Time for more Rise Up Morning Show. Now, William, you probably talked about this yesterday. Market Watch.
William.
Go watch the replay. Yeah, I don't know. I just felt like calling you back with your government name.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I called Giannova Gianna today. I swear to, listen, for the record, I swear to God, I have heard, I'm pretty sure it was Amber, at the start of her life, call her Gianna. I may be nuts when they
You
were
might be
trying out
nuts.
nicknames.
Well,
but
they also call her 3 or 4, 7 different names. So, like Vala and I, when we were hanging out with them, we are just like, I've heard
I
7
know.
names.
Giannova
I thought
is
that-
such
I
a
thought it was
good name.
Nova, I thought it
Giannova
was G,
Rose.
now I'm hearing GG, and now I'm hearing
there's so
Chungus.
much nickname.
Chungus also.
Yeah.
Chungus.
Anyway,
She'll
we
love that
had
one
this
when
on.
she's older.
We had this question, and I was wondering if one of your final thoughts would be to tell us about Bitcoin, please, because that's what it says in the comments is
Bitcoin good.
tell me about Bitcoin,
See you tomorrow.
please, William. And I asked, what about
wait a
Bitcoin?
few
Like
times.
what it is, where you think it's going. And I figured just in the spirit of Rise Up Market Watch, maybe you would tell us, because I missed this part, what Bitcoin is looking like right now. And can you speak a little piece to my soul?
Sure.
I knew you would. God bless him.
Let me just clean this up a little bit.
Here comes the chart. And for people in podcast land, don't forget it lives best on your television screen when you access the link through YouTube, if you want to see the screen share.
So we have Bitcoin here on the daily time frame. And yesterday's candle, which is this one right here, this guy. Let's see, do I have a little arrow I can put in here? Not quickly enough. Say la vie. This candle actually isn't too bad. So yesterday's daily candle actually ended up with a nice wick here. What that signifies to us is that bearish pressure went down, and then before the day ended, the bulls were able to kind of give them a good like uppercut and get the price back upwards. So we saw some bullish momentum come back in, and where it came back in is also pretty important. The 55-day exponential moving average was right here. We held that support. At the same time, it is also a previous price point for Bitcoin where we saw the bulls really come in and beat up the bears who were starting to win the day and really kind of give them a whooping, if you will. So, you know, this is a nice actual bullish candle. The thing is, though, is that we're still not bullish yet, despite that, because the weekly time frame, whatever candles you see there, whatever patterns you see there, whatever indicators are telling you on the weekly time frame, are far more impactful than what you see on the daily time frame. And that's true the longer of a time frame is that you go out. So if we come to the weekly chart here, this is a shooting star candle, last week's candle. Long wick on top, body on the bottom, and it's at the top of a bull trend that we were in for a while. That's a bearish sign. At the same time, you have a higher high that was barely a higher high. That is also a sign of bearish momentum. And both of those points have long wicks on top, showing that the bears smushed the bulls down. All of that would tell me that at the very least, we're going to try to find support on a key exponential moving average, like the 12-week EMA, which is sitting here at 112.7K, and then the 21-week EMA at 107.6K. Now, that still doesn't mean that we're not up, like we're not getting a little bit of hope because we had a bullish candle form yesterday. If we can get a few bullish candles showing up on the daily chart, we can start to change things on the weekly time frame and maybe get a bullish candle to outweigh the bearish candle that we got last week, right? So we like to see that we got a little bit of bull sentiment here yesterday at the end of the day, but it's not enough right now to really offset the bearish momentum on the weekly. We want to see a few more small wins stack up on the daily before we can start to be like, hey, we might have a rally here. And in fact, the candle that we're getting today, if it were to close the way it is today, right now, we have another long wick on top. So the bears have tried to smush us down below the 55-day exponential moving average, and the bulls are coming in with a nice uppercut once again. So if this daily candle can end with a long wick, even if it's red, that's another small win. And these small wins can stack up and start to change that momentum that we're seeing on the weekly time frame. So that's what we're seeing for Bitcoin. And then I'm going to stop sharing, Evan.
Okay, thank you.
And then the big thing that's going to be happening this week is Jerome Powell has a speech on Friday out of Jackson Hole, where he's going to give his thoughts on the economy, on what monetary policy the Fed could be thinking about. He'll probably give his thoughts on the recent inflation data, weakening labor market, all that stuff. And the last time he spoke at Jackson Hole, he really shook up the market because he gave his thoughts and opinions that were different from what the market was expecting. And right now, the market is still expecting rate cuts in September. So hopefully he doesn't come out and say like, hey, if he comes out and says, hey, we're really concerned with this increase in inflation, that's not going to be good for rate cuts in September. And you'll see the market take a dip. But if he comes out and says, hey, this increase in inflation, we don't think it's for reasons that will stick around in the market, so we're not too concerned by it. Yada, 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 he's probably going to say we'll continue to analyze the data as it comes in ahead of the Fed meeting in September. And then the markets would be kind of chill. So we'll see what happens.
Beautiful. Thank you for making the complex clear. Gentlemen, do you have a final thought as we head out the door into the sunset?
There is a silly chart competition that not a single person has posted a submission for yet.
Cannot believe it. A single silly
are,
submission?
The odds
not
are good.
Not a single one yet, and I'm giving $100 to whoever makes us laugh the hardest. If you find a chart of any asset, draw a silly picture on it. Of course, you have to use the price of the asset as the basis of your silly picture. And bonus points if you write an explanation as to what's happening on the chart in a very silly way. Anything to make us laugh. And you can head to the Rise Up community, in our circle community. You can find the link to join on my profile page, on Evan's profile page, on Alex's profile page, or go to rumshq.com and you can do it that way as well. Head to the public forum, put in your submission, and Thursday morning, I will give $100 in USDC to whoever submits the funniest, silliest one. And if no one does it, then I'll probably go open up some Pokemon packs. We're the $100. I'll probably do that instead because I was going to probably do that anyway.
Oh my gosh! Somebody get in there. I'm gonna make a silly chart. I love it.
I'm not paying you.
Oh, I hit the dog and pony sound. I meant to
You're
do
not
a
getting
Gwump.
$100.
Thank you, Alex, for helping me with the Gwump. Alex, what about you? You got a final thought aside from Gwump for Will for cutting us out of this contest?
Gwump. No.
Yeah.
What is this, insider trading?
Yes, exactly. Now you're getting it.
Yeah.
The game is rigged, just like the game of dings and gwumps.
Yeah.
Although Evan's very bad at rigging games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
No, I mean, I'm feeling well, Matt.
Good.
Thanks everyone for hanging out. It's 40,000 likes on the stream over here on TikTok. That's killer. Today was this was a fun one. Thanks for hanging in through some interesting technical difficulties, and we'll see you guys bright and early.
Want to shout out to Tori and Joe and Jay Heat and It's Me 23 and SJ and Traveler and Letters in Bloom and Exit Velo and Timmy B and Mama B Thang and Kate and Austin and Daniel and Ed Traveler. So many people here today. A couple folks for the first time, a couple coming back, Machinery, Bearded, a lot of our friends. If you're not there yet, then jump into the community. rumshq.com has the link. If you have trouble getting access, you can send us a DM, but only if you need to. And don't ever forget, we will never directly message you, my friends. And that is my final thought, that though we do want to hear from you. We will never message you directly, personally, try to bring you to Telegram or to WhatsApp or contact you from an alternate account. However, there are people who will impersonate us and leverage the trust we have built to try and take your money, but no legitimate creator will act like that with you. Do not trust them. There is no investment, passive income, free Bitcoin. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. And you can find us through all the official links at rumshq.com. My friends, thank you for being the very best part of what we do. Until next time, everybody stay safe, be well, my friends. Rise up.
Bye-bye.